Yeah, there we go. Okay.
There we
Because
go.
I think there's stuff we can take bits and pieces of this and use it. So go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Spencer, I was just kind of curious to know what the virtual interview process was like for you. And as I said, the session that we did previously really kind of talked about the onboarding process in a virtual environment and what that it looks like for students moving forward, right? So you already did an internship and you already went through the process. So if you wouldn't mind sharing just a little bit, that would be great.
Of course. So any opportunities that I ran into honestly came out of LinkedIn and direct messaging. Two of them, I would say, were approached me directly, and then two others were from me using LinkedIn and the jobs tab on companies' pages, and then also going to their HR directors. So I strayed away from going straight to somebody that was working there as like an analyst or an executive, and instead our person, because I found those were the people that were, if they were approaching me, that it was always an HR person. It wasn't somebody that was, doing behind the scenes, or not behind the scenes, doing
Yeah.
you know what I mean, work inside the office. So yeah, it happened there, and the place that I accepted at Trillium, they approached me after I submitted my application and said, "Hi, if you wouldn't mind going into our main website and completing the rest of the application." So I think sometimes people have to realize that simply submitting an application through LinkedIn, and when I say an application, sometimes they just ask for a resume. There may be more steps, and do your due diligence by going to the company's website themselves. Luckily, Trillium emailed me. I think it was an automated message after I applied through LinkedIn and said, "Hi, finish this application." After that, about a week later, I got an email asking for a first round interview. It went well. The virtual setting, we've been going over tools for the past, let's say, 9 months, how kids should prepare for virtual settings. So I don't want to go into detail over this, but instead just express that there's so many resources out on the UCDO's page and other recordings that we've done. So utilize the website for that matter. But it definitely went well. About 3 weeks later, they asked me in for a final interview. I know some places will do more than two, but that was their process. Going into the final interview, I used resources such as Glassdoor and other places to see what other people had been asked in the past. Super helpful. Being a finance job, I knew they could ask some really technical questions, and I was more prepared because I wanted Glassdoor. Personally, I talked to some people working at other banks and whatnot, asking them, "Hey, what do you think they would ask?" So using, I'd say, connections and asking people in different industries, and then also using Glassdoor was definitely most helpful. For instance, I follow the markets, but I don't know the price of everything every day. And in this specific job, they want you to be really on the ball. So I look up on Glassdoor, and they said you need to know the prices of all the indexes in the given day, or at least about where they're at. So I had a sticky note on my laptop with the prices. The first question the guy asked after my name, and that was it. And boom, got that done. Got a couple of quick hitters that you can get, and the conversation flow more personally. I feel like if you don't hit those technical questions, on the ball, then they're a little bit less apt to make it personal conversation. So you got to do your due diligence and be ready for the interview. Spend a few hours prepping, a week or so in advance. Look up the person on LinkedIn. I knew where the guy went to school. I knew where he was from. Like, it'd be weird if I didn't know he was working in the New York office and I'm applying for the New York jobs. The little things like that definitely helps. As you can see, I like to talk. I'll talk to just about anybody. And so that's like one of my strong points. So I know that, hey, I want to make this conversation flow easily. I want to have that shine through. And a digital setting, it's not always easy. So just to finish off, I want to emphasize the point of going through LinkedIn and whatnot. We're not going to have in-person companies coming and doing in-person interviews, even maybe for 2 or 3 years. So we really just have to be aggressive in the job search. Go out and find the company that you want to work for and tell them, hey, I'll be a good fit. I'm sure that companies are having a tough enough time finding good talent as they can't go to these campuses. If somebody who has a good resume and is responsible comes to them on LinkedIn and says, "Hi, I'll be good for your job," they're probably gonna want to at least look into it. So that's that. Yeah. Don't be intimidated by it.
So
Thank you.
Spencer, thank you for sharing that, and congratulations again. I wanted to tell you, I put an article that was in the New York Times within the last month or so about the New York job market, not the job market, sorry, the apartment market. You got the job already. So two things I just want to mention. There are plenty of apartments, and there's plenty of deals on apartments right now because there's so much inventory. So the only thing that I can tell you based upon from what I'm seeing from other young people and their jobs is that don't get the apartment until you really have clarity that you're going to be working in the office, because you know, what they project or what they think, as you said, you know, who knows? And you know, if you need to commute for a month from Fairfield, that's not the end of the world, you know, but you can always get there's no lack of apartments now. And there's great deals to be had right now also, and you could really negotiate. So good for you. Happy for you.
Thank you for sharing that. That's actually
Okay.
very helpful.
Okay, good.
Where'd you do your internship, Spencer?
I interned at Synchrony. Yeah.
So what did you think of that? Because Synchrony does have like a sophomore program and then the junior internship. And Melissa would be interested in that.
Yeah. Alyssa, what are you studying?
Financial management.
Okay. Yeah. So, let's see. Synchrony has a bunch of good options. So I was in credit and capital management. I also applied into the finance role. Basically, the sophomore and junior deal is that they have, what do they call it? They call it the BLP internship, business professionals. And what they do is if you are in the internship, you go into a certain track. So you'd apply probably the same things as me, capital management or finance. And they put you into an even more detailed segment in finance or credit. So I was working on like specific, particularly as a credit card company, if you didn't know already. They make rewards cards for any brand you could think of: Home Depot, Amazon, they just launched Walmart, things like that. So you would go in and you'd essentially manage or help manage 4 of those accounts in credit or in finance. You could be in planning and analysis. The program is great, and anywhere you go, if you can go somewhere where they have a track, what I said, or sorry, a rotational program. So if you have an internship and you get a full-time offer, they'll put you in 6-month rotations where you can work in different segments of finance and really find what you like. So that was attractive to me. My dad had previously worked at GE, and Synchrony's actually GE was their parent company. So he told me, hey, GE had this great rotational program. Synchrony probably has something really similar to it. Go to it, you'll learn more in those 18 months than you will all your time in school probably. So rotational programs are super helpful, and they make you find that, hey, at the end of 18 months, this is not for me. Oh, well, then at least you learn some skills you can take to a new company. But more so, you'll probably find a spot you like at Synchrony. Yeah, they're pretty great, and there's a lot of UConn alum that are still working there, and a lot of kids that I worked at in the summer who are returning full-time next time.
And Judy, they have the on-campus roles when we're back. So Synchrony is really connected to Stanford.
So actually, Spencer, I want to ask you as well, as far as you making that decision of going with Trillium, how did you come to that decision to finalize that this is the company I really want to work for in the search that you went through that process? What sparked your interest?
Honestly, my roommate, he genuinely shared this book called Flash Boys. And I don't know if you guys all saw what's happening in the news the past month with the markets and different stocks being pumped up. Whether or not you're a fan of the markets, like it's in the news now. After reading this book in the fall, I was like, wow, everything's making sense. There's companies profiting off being faster than the rest. And I was like, well, are these companies still around? Like, is this still a thing? And sure enough, I looked them up, and yeah, they're doing exceptionally well. So I didn't get a response from any of the other prop trading firms that are powerful in New York. And so Trillium was really the only one that applied back. There were a couple other offers, like Prudential and Barnum Financial, but they were in different segments. And to be honest, I thought that Trillium would be more exciting of an environment. So
Absolutely. So you will be investing their money, or how does that process work with Trillium?
yeah, so they start me out with really small unit sizes, and it's their money, and I think you make commission off whatever like you make for the company, but they said it's very negligible for somebody who's starting out with such small units, just because they expect you to lose a little bit in the beginning.
Got it.
So,
There's that learning curve. So hopefully you have some good mentorship along the way as well in that process.
I wanted to go somewhere that had a good history, and they do. I definitely know that it's important to learn from people. I mean, I've been learning from people at UConn the past 4 years, so it's like doing your due diligence with professors. You want to make sure that you're getting a good one.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Absolutely.
So Spencer, talk to me a little bit about what the so far the onboarding process has been like for you. So are you assigned a mentor? How is that working out? And is the expectation right away that you're going to be in the office? And if not, what are they providing you to work at home?
Yeah. So the onboarding process, after I accepted the offer, they said that they're rolling applications. So they're still taking kids right now and reviewing applications. So onboarding hasn't really begun yet. As far as a mentor, I knew going in that the deal with the mentor program is that you're assigned somebody who's more senior, and they will be able to help you for the first 12 months. They will be your assigned mentor. But they do give you a 6-week training program. So if my start date is September 1st, that's when training starts. 6 weeks, it's in a classroom setting.
Okay.
You're learning the technical side of, as far as like regulations, what you can and can't do. And then also they're training for the job. They're teaching you responsibilities and how to be most productive. So that's the deal as far as I'd say onboarding those 6 weeks. I'm looking forward to like the end of the semester, early summer, when I start to, talk to more people. Maybe there'll be some event where we can hop on a Zoom call, or maybe meet in the city or some extent. As far as like hardware that they're sending over, nothing yet. I would assume that if a new strain of COVID became more popular and we really can't do business in New York City, then they would send me some sort of desktop and a lot of technology. They're like, you guys know what Bloomberg is on the terminals that we have at school. Each person has to have their own Bloomberg terminal. So I know that it would be very costly and super difficult for them to train over the computer for something like that. So I like I said, I think they're trying to go at all, as much as they can, try to be in person. Yeah.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Spencer, at some point, you might want to look into the Husky Mentor Network, because you can register once you start as Husky Mentor. You would be so good at that. And Alyssa, if you don't know what that is, you can go in, you put in what your major is, you put in who you want to, like what type of a person you want to connect with. And it's all UConn alums that you talk with through platform and through email. So it's a good option for both of you.
Yeah, I think I still need a mentor. Definitely. I need to go search through there before I apply for anything.
Well, you're not an alumni yet. Get in there on the other side.
Yeah, totally.
All right, so Mick, why don't you go through for just a few moments, and Alyssa and Spencer, what we had planned to do in the final session is for alumni or for students that are about to graduate and don't have a role yet, we wanted to share some insight of like what the office can do for them. And Spencer, jump in at any point in time, because as a career intern, you get to think from both sides. So, Mick, you want to share a little bit of that?
Absolutely. So again, thank you guys for joining us today. I mean, as far as resources, after graduation and ways that we could always be here to support you, We're simply just one click away in this instance, but also as going back to a conversation, one phone call away or email away to our office. We're always here to help and support students even after they graduate from the university, and know that we're here as a resource. I think Kathy mentioned the great fact that you can still be a Husky mentor for upcoming students, as Alyssa, and then for students again that reconnect as an alum. I think it's always beneficial to be that guidance and support for the future graduating class or classes in this case. So definitely consider that as a strong resource. And then also, be aware of as far as what the outcomes are. I think as a graduate from UConn, providing that insight data to what your future looks like, and giving that holistic overview through our outcome data really helps future students, but it also helps you as well to know which are the top companies that are actually hiring UConn students. So each and every year we put out a survey to students to complete, whether that's to provide information and insights on internships, whether it's to provide information and insights on full-time jobs, geographic locations, salary information, and it gives us more depth and insight too, is the volume. How many employees are being hired by XYZ company like GE, like Synchrony that you guys are mentioning. So, I'll do a share screen just so you guys could see some of the information. Come here, let's see, there we go. This I'll reference to shortly, but I wanted to show you specifically an example of our data outcome sheet here. Nope, moving screens around. I apologize, guys. Nope, wrong one. No, that's not the one either. I just had it open. Just moving along. Apologize. I should have had it on standby when I was going through. There we go. So this is sort of for 2020. It's still not on our website, but I want you to know about it.
Over, Nick. You're still on the PowerPoint.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Hold on here, guys. Let me see. Stop sharing. I'm gonna do a quick share. There we go. Can you guys see this now? Perfect. Excellent. So this is sort of just our data outcome, where we are as the School of Business, and it's really just a holistic overview of which are the top employers that are actually hiring university students, where the students are actually going geographically throughout the United States, and the majority of the students are always going to end up in the Northeast corner, at least for the last 5 years. That's been the case for UConn students. We also provide insight as far as who are those companies that are hiring 5+ students from the university, 5, 10+ students as top employers within our list. So definitely always take a look here. Salary information as well. So this is something, Alyssa, that you would want to definitely take a look at, and any other students that are listening in today. This is also listed online on our website, and we have a historical overview. I know Kathy has added that in with PDF versions of salary information going back to 2015, 2016. So you could kind of see the progression and growth. Has there been any different trends with salary regarding student outcomes, and in a list of top employers throughout the year and each and every year that are hiring UConn students. So that's definitely important for planning purposes as well. And you never know where you're going to be 2-3 years from now. And you being a UConn alum as well, I would want to know which employers are hiring UConn students, because again, you could always throw your hat into that ring when looking for those opportunities. So be aware of this. This is definitely something you want to leverage and use. I want you to know that not only the School of Business has this, but also the Center for Career Development. Those outcome data sheets are available. I'm just going to stop sharing and switch over here, toggle back and forth. Sorry, guys. This way I'm just going to share my screen entirely. Perfect. So you guys could see this as well.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. So you have access to first destination information as well from the Center for Career Development. So I do encourage you to take a look at that information as well, because it's going to be more a holistic overview for the entire university. And then you could always compare that with outcomes as well with the School of Business. Our timelines are slightly different, so information will vary. And again, ours is more focused and honed in for business students. And again, salary data information, but the big thing is you can also look at each of the years prior to 2020 as well to give you a better understanding of what's going on, as far as hiring trends throughout the few years. Another thing I wanted to mention to you guys to be aware of is labor market information, that regardless of where you go in the United States to seek an opportunity, you can always find out which jobs are sort of in demand that are, that future planning for the next 10 years, they're going to see trends of upward growth. So that leads me to this portion of my segment in this presentation is jobs as far as related to industries that are top industries in the state of Connecticut, or in your case, Spencer, maybe state of New York. You could actually look into those industries specifically, which ones are highest in demand per state, and then you could conduct some research specifically related to occupations and industries and educational requirements through labor market information, which is something that's organized through your state here in Connecticut through the Department of Labor, and every state has access to this as well through their portal of labor market information, and you're able to conduct research. Simple research. I'll say simple research, but it's fairly cohesive. It's really concise and detailed, based off of certain criteria and fields that you're able to complete. If you could simply just Google CT, LMI, or labor market information, this would be one of the top first or second result that you'll have. And you're able to really do a deep dive into finding out what are the fastest occupations that are growing in the state of Connecticut. You can determine that by, again, certain educational requirements, a bachelor's degree, a doctoral degree, and then you could do a search, and you will get feedback on those jobs and what are the percentages and changes in those occupations, what's the hourly rates for each of these jobs. And then you could take that one step further, click on the link, like for instance, operations research analyst, we're seeing a percentage change of almost 30% for this growth, for this role from 2016 to 2026. And you could actually review that position, watch a video. What's an operations analyst really do? And thinking future as well, planning. Maybe you want to obtain your MBA, or maybe you want to obtain a business analytics and project management degree. Does that align with occupations that are now in demand in the state of Connecticut? So this is also sort of a holistic view of future planning on what, things that you can do to move on your career chessboard to be successful as well in planning for the future. So I highly encourage you guys to take a look at that tool. The same thing goes, just as you can see, hey, which jobs are in demand, which jobs are actually on the decline as well. Connecticut occupations with declining employment by degree as well. You can conduct that search and it will give you that information, editors, insurance underwriters, almost a 6% expected decrease in percentage change from 2016 to 2026. So you want to be aware of this too, for planning purposes for a future move, again, for graduate school or career. Where can I, envision myself being and having that potential growth pattern within my current job that I have, or where can I move along in my career to find that next opportunity? So use this as a tool. I definitely think it's going to if anything, give you more insight about the industry. And if you ever decide, being a college graduate, maybe you're looking for more mobility and other arenas with geographic locations. Maybe you want to work in the San Francisco Bay Area or in Miami. You can conduct that research, at that granular state level to determine, which jobs are really in demand in those markets, to sort of position yourself better for your future. So that's some insight that I definitely wanted to share with you guys. If you have any questions for me or for the rest of our team about this, always happy to help to provide that feedback and insight about our presentation today as well. So I will stop my sharing at this point and just popcorn back to Kathy or anyone else on my team here that would like to give some insight as well. Or if you have any questions, let me know as well.
Thanks, Mick.
That's great stuff, Mick. And just to let the students know that are watching this later, that if, when graduation comes, our services don't stop. We work with alum who are many years out. And sometimes it's just that once you leave campus and you've had a chance to sort of unpack, unwind, graduation is behind you. Now you're ready to start your career search. It's never too late, right? So you can still reach out to us for all of that. And it's not just our team that's here to help. A lot of the faculty stay engaged with students once they graduate. It's the networking that you've done. So for those students that are still looking, there are just-in-time jobs. The job market is strong for early careers, right? So while Mick has got the information there for the state stats, that's all useful information, and you can still continue to use Handshake as an alum. That's a platform that you'll be able to use for several years that'll still be relevant. So their resources don't stop. You don't have to have a job before graduation. You don't even have to know what you want to do before graduation to still be able to land the next role that you want, whether it's continuing education, the 4+1 programs, doing some volunteer work, gap year. All of those are positive outcomes when you make a conscious decision for them. So for Nick, for Judy, for Sue, for myself, for Tricia, we want to thank everybody that's participated. Spencer and Alyssa, the two of you jumping on a Thursday afternoon and walking us through all of this. We appreciate it. We're going to have links on our website to all of this. If we had a student helper who could help us do that, that'd be really, really good. Nick, anything you want to add?
That is it on my end.
Judy.
No, all good. Thank you. And some of you have been to multiple sessions this week, so thank you very, very much.
Yep.
And I hope you found it helpful.
Sue?
No, I'm actually good. I've conversed. So yeah. Thanks to everyone who's popped on, and obviously my own team. So thanks, Emil and Spencer. You're part of that, my own team. So there you go.
Yeah.
As a career intern. So
right.
Yeah.
And I need to say this before we log off, that all of this back of the scenes coordination of getting all of these workshops set up. Trisha's got her camera up at the moment, but I'm giving huge shout out to Trisha for all of the work that she's done to coordinate 16 sessions in 4 days. So
most definitely. Yippee!
Yeah. There
Yippee.
you go.
Yes.
All right. So Alyssa, do you have my email? I'm going to pop it in here so that you can connect with me after, so that we can take care of what I was suggesting that we would send out to you. All right. Spencer, so good to see you. I mean, I know if we were in the office, I'd get to see you every other day, but it was really good. Congratulations. And we'll have you complete the survey.
I'm happy to. It's really good to see all you guys, and thank you for keeping this and making it as successful as it has been in the past. So.
All right, everybody. Have a great week.
Okay.
Y'all
Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Take good care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.